Hello, hello, hello. Hi. So I am officially live. I'm working with my computer and also my phone. So just do me a favor while you're watching. If at any time I get staticky or if I go out, please let me know because I have my phone right here and I'm ready to jump on my phone at any moment. So just do me a favor. I can see that there's a few people watching. Do me a favor and just comment down below. Just say hello and let me know where you are from. Just comment down below. Hey, Coach. Hey, Sherry. Thank y'all for getting on. Yes, thank y'all so much for support. Okay, you will. Okay, thanks, Coach. So let me know where you guys are. Hey, sis. Hey, Bernice. Let me know where you guys are. Just watching from. Just let me know, and if let me know if y'all are excited. I appreciate y'all so much for getting on. Again, let me know if at any point I go out. Let me know if I get staticky or if it's a delay or anything because I have my phone right here and I'm ready to switch over. So just let me know. Hey, France. Hey, okay. So Coach is watching from DC. Oh, Coach is on YouTube. Okay, Coach. Thank you for representing on YouTube. So guys, I am streaming on YouTube as well. Bernice is. Thank you so much for sharing, Cherie. Bernice is watching from Maryland. Thank you so much. Hey, Tranisa. Thank you for tagging people, guys. Definitely share this video and tag somebody that you know could benefit because I'm going to give you guys some tips today on how to raise your credit. Like when I tell you guys I'm going to share a little bit about what happened to me earlier this year when this pandemic started, but I'm going to let you guys know how I recovered from it, okay? So I'm going to just give a couple minutes just to give a couple more people to get on. I'm so excited. Francis tuning in from Baltimore. We got Tranisa from Texas. Thank you guys so much for getting on. I'm excited. Y'all know I love talking about credit and finances and things like that because I came a long way. I always like to give a disclaimer that I am not I'm not a credit professional. I'm not a financial professional. I'm just somebody, I have made some mistakes and I learned from it. I've learned how to bounce back from it. I'm going to share some information with you guys today about an ebook that I wrote and I share my history with money. I share all about how I just grew up poor and how I just ended up with bad money habits. But once I learned how to do better with my money, things just turned around for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we got Texas in the house. Let me just highlight that. Tranisa watching all the way from Texas. Thank you so much. I hope I'm saying your name right. We got France from Baltimore. We got Bernice from Maryland. Thank you guys so much. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hey, Mian. Hey, sis. Yes, experience is definitely the best teacher, Cherie, because I'm gonna tell you guys, and you'll read it if you do, and I'll share just briefly about my history. But if you do decide to get my ebook, I'll share the information later. But so my history with money, my mother she died of AIDS when I was 10, and her last few months of being on this earth, we were poor, so she didn't have any money, we didn't have no food. I was literally drinking like tea and coffee and things like that because we didn't have anything to eat, and so I would eat at school. I would eat at one of my friends' houses or, something like that. And so, she ended up dying. Of course, at the time I was only 10. I didn't know she had AIDS. And so just growing up, I ended up being raised by my aunt and my father, and they never let me get a job. I wanted to get a job. I wanted to have my own money. And so once I turned 18 and I got my first job, I just went crazy. Like with my money, every time I got it, it was gone from my pocket just like that. And I mean years. I was just being so irresponsible. Like bills and my rent. I was late for my rent all the time and just doing stupid stuff because I just didn't have the education about money. First of all, I didn't realize how important credit was. I was never taught. And I just, I wasn't used to money. So I just went crazy. And so I just got tired of it. And what's crazy is that it didn't take for me to hit rock bottom. A lot of people, it takes for them to hit rock bottom, but I had actually hit rock bottom a bunch of times and it didn't do anything for me. It was literally thinking about my daughter being hungry like I was. Like, it's amazing how your kids can be your motivation for you. But that's what it was for me, to be honest. Like, it was just thinking about her being hungry like I was that really made me want to change my ways. All right, so we're going to get started here. First of all, you guys know I gave a disclaimer. I'm not a credit professional. This is experience teaching, okay? I became a student of finances a couple of years ago, and so I'm a teacher. If you don't know, I'm a medical assistant instructor, and I also teach first aid and CPR. So I'm a teacher by nature. So just forgive me if I become like a teacher while we on this live. So first of all, can anybody tell me if you know the 5 factors that affect your credit score? So even if you don't know all 5, even if you just know 1 or 2, just do me a favor and just type that below for me. If you know the 5 factors that affect your credit score. And I'll just wait a couple moments. If you know the 5 factors or any of the 5 factors that affect your credit score. I'll wait just a moment, see if you guys know. And even if you don't know all of them, it's okay. Even if you just know 1 or 2, just comment down below. And I know it's a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to give it a couple more seconds to see if anybody can tell me. I'm going to tell you guys anyway, but I just want to see if anybody else knows. So zip code. So zip code is not one of the factors. Zip code is not one of the factors. Utilization. Yes, utilization is one of the factors. Utilization is what we're going to actually talk about tonight. Utilization is actually 30% of your score. That's correct, Shaniqua. Delinquent payments. Yes, Cherie, because that goes under payment history, as France has noted there. So payment history, utilization. Payment history is the biggest one. So payment history, that's 35% of your score, whether you're paying your payments on time. Right, Crystal Williams. Hey, Crystal. Late payments, yes. History, inquiries, yes. So so your debt to income ratio is not really a factor in your score. It's a factor if you're trying to buy a house, if you're trying to make a big purchase, they do factor in your debt to income ratio. But the amount of debt you use, of the amount that you get approved for, yes, they do judge you for that. Credit age, exactly. So credit age. Hey, Fabiana. Hey, sis. So credit age is definitely one. So great answers, guys. So I'm just going to give them to you really quickly. So yes, there are 5 factors, and I'll say it slow if anybody wants to write it down, because I'm not going to focus really on all 5. I'm really going to talk about really one today, and that's dealing with your credit card. So the first factor that you want to think about is your payment history, which somebody says that is 35% of your score. So pay your bills on time. You want to pay all your bills on time anyway, but especially those bills that affect your credit. So like your credit card payments, your loans, whether it's personal loans, auto loans, your mortgage, any bills that affect your credit, you want to pay them on time, because guess what? Those late payments stay on your credit for 7 years. And a lot of people don't even realize that they stay on your credit for an entire 7 years. Now, after a couple of years, they stop holding as much weight, but they stay on there for 7 years. So please think about that when you are, okay, good. Crystal says she's taking notes. So please think about that, guys. They stay on your credit for 7 years. The next one is debt utilization, as somebody said. Debt utilization, that is 30% of your score. And that is how much of your approved credit that you use. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, because that's what we're going to focus on tonight. So 30% of your score is your debt utilization, or how much of your credit, of your approved credit that you actually use. Hey, Toya. Okay, and so the next one, 15% of your score is your credit age, which somebody said, coach said credit age. That is 15% of your score. And so that's one of the things I'm going to touch on that a little bit when it comes to credit cards tonight. But you want to think about your credit age. That is 15% of your score. How long have you had your credit? The longer you have your credit, the longer you have open credit, I should say, the better. Okay. And then the next one we're going to talk about is 10%. So that's inquiries. Inquiries. Every time someone pulls your credit, if it's a hard inquiry, that is affecting your credit score. It could be a few points or it could be a lot. So don't just be letting people pull your credit all willy-nilly. I tell people, if it's not something that you actually need, do not let anybody pull your credit, because guess what? Those stay on your credit report as well. But they stay on for 2 years and they affect your score for 2 years. So I had an inquiry, my last inquiry dropped off, and I'm telling y'all that my credit score went up like 50 points when that last inquiry dropped off. So don't let nobody tell you that inquiries don't make a difference. Now, you can check your own score as much as you like, as many times as you want. If you go to freecreditreport.com, also known as Experian.com, they the same company, or you can go to Discover Scorecard. You can get a free credit report there, but it's Equifax, it's not your Experian. And then also annualcreditreport.com. So any of those places, you can check your credit as much as you want, and it won't affect your score. Okay. So tonight, I just want to share with you guys. I'm not going to keep you long. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for getting on. This is my first official Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Virtuous Woman Facebook Live. I do plan to do these weekly. And so my goal, my mission is to inspire women to think like a virtuous woman spiritually, financially, and also relationally, because some people might be wondering, what does credit have to do with being a virtuous woman? Well, we know by reading Proverbs 31 that she was good with her money. And so we know that money is important to God, because money and possessions are talked about almost more than anything else in the Bible. So we know that money and what we do with it matters to God. So we want to make sure that we are being good stewards over what he has blessed us with, right? And so being good with your credit, budgeting, knowing how to be a good steward of your money, that is all a part of being a virtuous woman, right? Because the Bible says that she feared the Lord, right? And so fearing the Lord, you want to be good with what he's blessed you with, right? Hey, Demetria. Hey, sister. Hey, Ren. All right, so I'm going to share with you guys just some quick tips, okay? And like I said, I am a teacher, so I'm going to go teacher mode. I do have a few slides I'm going to show you. I promise it's just a few. I think it's only like 5 or 6 slides I'm going to show you. And then I'll let you guys ask any questions if you have any. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. And again, let me know if I go out or if I get staticky or anything like that, and I will switch to my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And let me come back over here. Okay, guys, so just let me know that you can see my screen. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. I just want to make sure before I go on, because sometimes I'm doing this with my students and they like, Miss K, I can't see. I'm thinking I'm sharing it. I'm not. So just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. And I know there's a delay, so I'll just wait a moment. Okay, good. So Bernice gave me a thumbs up. Okay, so you guys can see my screen. Okay, so I'm going to just share my screen. I'm going to come off for a second and I'll be back in a moment. I'm just going to share my screen. So of course I told you guys, I'm going to show you how to do right by your credit card. So how to raise your score doing right by your credit card. And if you are somebody that's saying, you know what, I actually don't have a credit card, just still watch this, because I want to tell you why you need a credit card, and also I'll tell you how you can possibly get one if you don't know how to get one. And then too, you might be saying, well, I'm already doing good with my credit card, but you never know. You might still learn something tonight, okay? So first of all, let me come back for a moment, because let me just quickly share what happened with me this when the pandemic hit. So, you know, the pandemic hit in March, and with everything going on, my school, we ended up shutting down, but thankfully I still had a job because we were able to transition over to online. But in the midst of everything, I had fraud charges on my bank account. So I had to switch banks and all of that. And so I automate my bills. And that's one thing that I encourage people to do, is automate. So I automate pretty much everything that I can, because you get discounts for automating. And then too, for me, a lot of times it's easy to get rid of the money before I see it. So I automate. So with my credit card, the bank that I had the fraud charges on, when I closed that account, when I transferred my direct deposit to my new bank, I forgot to set up my credit card payment. So my credit card payment normally comes out every month. And so do you guys know I missed a payment in April? So for the first time in over 10 years, I missed the credit card payment, and my credit score dropped like 45 points. And so I just want to share that with you guys to let you know. I'm going to show you how I quickly got those 45 points back, plus some more, okay? Because I ended up raising my score, not just by those 45 points, but between May, so that happened in April, but between May and August, my score went up 94 points. And then September, altogether, it went up about 110 points. So I'm just going to share you guys how I did that, simply using my credit card correctly, okay? So let me go back to my screen. All right. So step number 1, you want to keep your debt utilization under 30%. So remember, we talked about debt utilization being 30% of your score. So just to recap, if you just joined me, your debt utilization, That is how much of your credit that you use. So I know it might sound crazy that they would approve you for a certain amount of credit, but they only want you to use a certain amount. But that's how the credit bureaus work. If they see you using more than 30% of the credit that you are approved for, you are considered a risk. So they want you to keep it under 30%. So my first tip to you is tomorrow, I want you guys to call your credit card company and find out what day of the month that they report to the credit bureaus. Because every month they report on the same day. And usually that day is your statement date on your credit card bill. But just call your credit card company and just make sure. So you just want to find out. You just ask them, hey, I just want to know what day of the month. And everything I'm telling you guys are things that I learned and I applied and I do myself. Okay. So I called my credit card company and I found out what day of the month they report to the credit bureaus every single month. Once you know that date, you want to make sure your utilization is under 30% by that date. So if it's the 27th, you want to make sure your utilization, I'm going to give you an example on the next slide, okay? But you want to make sure your utilization is under 30% before that date. You got to find that date out, okay? Now, even though they want you to keep it under 30%, ideal is actually 10% or lower. So 30% is your magic number, right? You want to keep it below that. However, 10% and lower is going to be ideal. Now, when you see people who have like perfect credit scores and they have, 800s and 850s, those people mostly have their debt utilization under 10%. Okay. And some of them even 1%. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example on this next slide. Here's an example. Okay. This is how you're going to keep your debt utilization under 30%. Now I'm going to use $500 as an example because $500 is a magic number. I did the math, so I'm kind of familiar with using $500. Okay. So if your credit card balance is $500 on your credit card, right? And so you call your credit card company and they tell you, we report to the credit bureaus every month on the 27th. So because you know you need to keep it under 30%, 30% of $500 is $150. So that means that they don't want to see you using more than $150. And I know that sounds like, wow, they're going to give me 500 and I can only spend 150. Correct. That is correct. They don't want to see you using more than that. If you happen to use your entire $500, let's say you max it out, what you want to do is before the 27th of the month, you want to pay it down to $150 or below by the 27th. So if you use it, don't let them see you use it. So this is one of the ways that you can be responsible with your credit card is keep it up under 30%. And if you happen to go over 30%, pay it down before they report to the credit bureaus. Now, some of y'all might be thinking, but my credit card balance is more than $500. Or you might be thinking, well, I have more than one credit card. What about that? So I'm going to give you another example, okay? Example number 2. If you have multiple credit cards, right? And let's say your total available credit is equal to $20,000, right? $20,000, you have maybe 2 or 3 cards or even 4, and they all total up to $20,000. Because the credit bureaus look at your entire available credit as one number, you have even more money that you can utilize, right? You have up to $6,000 that you could use, right? Because you want to, by the 27th, you want that balance to be $6,000 or below. So yeah, you have more access to more money. However, because you have so much money available to you, it's going to require more discipline for you. So some of y'all might have $20,000 in credit and your balance right now is probably $20,000, and that's okay. If you cannot get it down to 30% right away, at least work your way down, right? So if you have your $500 balance, and you want to get below 150, but you can't get it down in 1 month, it's okay. Work your way down. As you work your way down every single month, you're going to see your credit score jumping like crazy. I'm telling you, as that utilization goes down, you'll see your score going higher and higher every time they report. Okay. So I'm going to go to the next one. If you guys have any questions about this, just go ahead and type it down below and I'll get back to it. I'll get to it once we finish this. Okay. All right. Now, Step number 2, and using your credit card the right way to boost up your credit score, you want to make sure you want to pay off a balance in full every single month. Every month you want to pay your balance off. If you can pay it off in full, first of all, you save on interest when you can pay it off in full, okay? If you pay it off in full, you can save on interest. That's number one, because none of us wants to pay interest. And I talk about that in my ebook too. I had no idea about interest when I first got introduced to it. I got in a relationship with interest, didn't realize what I was getting myself into, and now, I just it's I got balances, student loan balances that's just crazy because of interest, right? And a lot of us get got that way because we don't know. But anyway, you want to avoid paying interest, right? So if you use your credit card, let's say you have multiple credit cards, right? So you end up paying one off, or maybe you got one you're not using, right? Use it for like a small purchase. And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this before, because everybody I've talked to say they always hear, use it for gas, use it for gas. And that's true, because the reason they say that is because a gas purchase is something you can easily pay off. When the credit bureaus see you paying the debt off every single month, they look at you like a responsible adult. They like, okay, yeah, she good with her money. She paying off a balance every single month. And guess what? They don't even care whether it's $2 or $200, as long as you pay it off. So Netflix is what, $15 a month? So charge your Netflix to your credit card and pay it off when you get your statement, okay? Pay it off every month. Use it for gas, pay it off every month, okay? If you can pay a balance off in full every month, please do that. Let me just go over to the chat and just make sure I don't have anything. Okay, so, okay. All right, I'll come back to the questions later. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna go to the next one. So step 3, don't pay off or on your credit cards too soon. This is one of the mistakes people make. And I used to do the same thing, y'all. I would use my credit card and I would pay it right off. Don't do that. Somebody told me, somebody I was just recently talking to said they do that. They didn't know. As soon as they use it, they pay it right off. No, don't pay it off too soon, because the thing is, if you pay it off too soon, it never reports to the credit bureaus. If you want your credit score to be positively impacted by your credit card, stop paying it so soon. Don't pay it off too soon. I know you want to pay it off before before the interest hit, right? But at least give your credit card company time to report to the bureaus. And the way you do that is just make sure you pay after the statement date, right? So once you get your bill in the mail, then you already know they have reported, okay? So if you get your bill in the mail, you can go ahead and pay it. If you don't get your bill by mail and you only get electronic statements, just wait until the statement date. And that date you can find out again from calling your credit card company. If you pay too soon, they never have a chance to see you using it. So it's looking like you're not even using it. So it's not even helping you. So pay after your statement date. Of course, you want to pay before your due date though, right? Because you don't want to get a late payment and you don't want to pay any interest. So you want to pay it off. Just don't pay it off too soon. This is one of the things a lot of people don't know, and this might be new to some of you guys right now. Do not pay your credit off too soon. Now, if you're somebody who don't care about your credit score, then you might say, you know what, I don't care. Let me just pay it off. I just want to get rid of the debt. Then again, you wouldn't be on here anyway, because you're on here because you care about your credit score. So if you do care about your credit score, just don't pay it off too soon, okay? Give it time to report and then pay it off. So this is going to go back again to calling your credit card company to find out your statement date, the day they report to the credit bureaus every month, okay? All right, so this is a last resort type of thing right here, okay? If you have credit that is poor, okay? So if you're one of those people who you're really trying to dig yourself out, right? You're really trying to, I talked to somebody the other day and said that they were like, they don't even know if they're in the 500s yet, right? And so if you are in a situation where your credit is very poor, see if you can get added as an authorized user. Now, this has to be somebody that you know very well, somebody that you trust. Let's say one of your parents, or maybe even your spouse, or a family member, or just somebody that you trust and is very good with their credit, and they use their credit card correctly, because you get to benefit from them using their credit card responsibly. Okay, so this will also boost your credit score up as well if you can get added as an authorized user. That doesn't mean you're a co-signer. So they're not checking your credit score. They're not checking your credit report or anything. They're just adding you as a user. Okay. So this is one of the ways that people can raise their credit score quickly. Okay. And the reason why I say last resort is because this is not something you want to just start out doing. This is one of those things that you do if you've been trying other things, you know what I mean? And it's, you're not really getting nowhere. Maybe you got a lot of credit card debt and you having a hard time paying it all down. This is one of those things that you want to consider doing. Okay. Now on the flip side, let's say you do have good credit, right? And you're doing right by your credit card. You could actually add your child as an authorized user. Now some credit card companies may require them to be a certain age. I'm actually going to add my daughter because remember we talked briefly about the credit age. The older your credit, the better your credit score is. If you add your child, let's say like my daughter now, she's 14. If I add her now, as an authorized user, by the time she is 18, she will already have 4 years. She will already have 4 years of credit, open credit, and in good standing, right? So that's going to actually help her when it's time for her to get out there and start buying things on her own, because they're going to see, wow, she's had credit for years now. Okay. So that's something you can do only if you're using your credit card responsibly. So that's on the other end. If you're doing right by it. Again, getting added as an authorized user, that's the last resort. Okay. All right. Step 5. I told y'all I wasn't going to keep y'all long. We're moving right on through this. Okay. So step 5, this is another mistake. Stop closing your credit card accounts, even if you don't use the card. This is where many people go wrong. So I put up a video so I got a YouTube channel, if you don't know. And I put up a video last month or so, just basically kind of talking about this same thing about how I was able to raise my credit score quickly. And somebody said that they cut up their card and they was wondering why they closed the card, and they were wondering why their score dropped. That's because that credit age, remember we talked about that? When you cut up your credit card, you lose credit age. The longer your credit age, the better your score. So let's say you had a card for like 10 years and you cut that card up, you just lowered your credit score, because your credit age is an average of your of all of the open credit you have. So like for an example, let's say you had a credit card for 10 years, right? And then you have another credit card for let's say 5 years, right? So that's 15 years altogether. They take the average of the two. So they would say 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5. So your credit age is 7.5 years, right? Now, let's say you close that 10-year-old credit card. Guess what? Your credit age has went from 7.5 years down to 5 years, and your score will drop. So if you have a credit card you are no longer using, if you are tempted to use it and you like, I don't want to use it no more, but I'm going to keep it open, just get rid of it. Cut it up, destroy it. The only bad thing about cutting it up and destroying it is some companies will close your card for you. If you go a long time without using it, they may close it. So that's one of the downsides to that. However, if you keep it and just use it for a small purchase like gas here and there and pay it off, then that will benefit you greatly. So stop closing your credit card accounts, okay? So I'm just going to recap those 5 steps just one more time. So let me go back real quick. So step 1 was keeping your debt utilization below 30%. So tomorrow you guys are going to call your credit card company and find out the day of the month that they report to the credit bureaus. Every month you're going to make sure you are below 30%, or you're going to at least start trying to make your way down below 30%. Once you get there, please keep it there. Do whatever it takes to keep it there, okay? The thing about credit scores, your credit score go up, and it can go up and down every month, right? Depending on how you use your credit cards. Your credit cards, now, credit cards, one of the great things about credit cards is that you could easily kind of manipulate your score with them. With these steps that I just gave you, you can raise your credit score quickly. That's the great thing about having a credit card. Like people who have great credit, perfect credit, they have credit cards and they're able to use them the correct way. Like I said, 10% or lower is how they normally use their cards, right? Step 2 was paying a balance off in full every month. A small purchase, Netflix, gas, or any other small purchase that you could easily pay off. And it doesn't matter how much it is. Step 3 was don't pay off your credit card too soon. Pay it after the statement date, before the due date, but after the statement date, okay? Step 4 Last resort, if your credit is very poor, see if you can get added as an authorized user, okay, on someone else's card. But it has to be someone who uses it correctly, because you don't want to get put on somebody else's card and then your credit card gets jacked up because they are irresponsible. That's why I said it got to be somebody you trust, okay? And another tip I gave was adding your child to help boost their credit if you're doing right by your credit card. And then step 5 was stop closing your credit card accounts. Keep them open. The longer you keep them open, the better your score. I know of people who have had their credit card for years. There's one guy I read about. He has an 850 credit score. He has a credit card that he's had open since 1984. I wasn't even born yet. I was born in 85. He has had that credit card for is his credit card is older than me. He had it since 1984. So keep your credit cards open, okay? Now, that's pretty much it. And this is just my website there, Shop Like a Virtuous Woman. And that's my email list if anybody wants to join my email list. And of course, I'm thinking Like a Virtuous Woman on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So let me stop sharing and let me come on back. Coach said he gonna call now. All right, let me go back. Let me just see if there's any questions. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys been tuning in. Thank you so much. Yes, so Shantae, that's really good. Thanks for tuning in, sis. Shantae said, if you have to use more, just pay it before they report it. Yes, if you have to use it. I don't care if you max your card out. I'm not saying max it out, but I'm just saying if you happen to max your card out, I don't care how much you spend, make sure you get it below 30% before they report. That's why you want to know that date. Vanessa says, I've had issues because mine was over 30%. And that's okay, Vanessa. You can work your way to start getting it below 30%. If you can't get it below 30% right away, it's okay. Work your way down. Get it down to 28%. The next time you pay on it, maybe it's 15%. Just work your way down. Henry is watching from Nigeria. Thank you so much, Henry, for tuning in. Yes, Fabiana, debt utilization under 30%. Ideal is 10% and under. Exactly. Hey, Shook. Hey, Pastor Vern. All right, let's see who else. Anybody else had a question? This is what, let me see. This is what happened to my doctor, no credit line. Oh, I think she meant daughter, no credit line, and she's 19, and her score is, oh, I can't see the rest. Coach said you could keep us longer. Pastor Burns, you're an amazing parent. Thank you so much, Pastor Burns. I'm trying to teach her what I didn't learn. This stuff is actually, it's very easy, but you know, a lot of people don't know. So we got to try to get this in schools. I was telling one of my friends earlier, I think eventually I'm gonna try to push to get this in DC schools. So yes, keep it open. I was hit hard because I closed an account. 20-year relationship. So I could just imagine how much your credit age dipped. Shantae said, great class. Thank you so much, Shantae. Bernice said, good information. Tracy said, this is good. Thank y'all so much, sis. Thank you for getting on, sis. Never thought about adding my kids. Yes, Bernice, add your kids. Add your kids. Very good information. Thank you guys so much for getting on. I'm gonna just add my so my ebook right now is only $2.99 on Amazon. I'm going to go ahead and post the link right here. It is going to go up. So it's not $2.99 right now, but it's going to go up, guys. I spent a lot of time on that book. But it's going to be a printed version too. It's going to come out later though, because I actually hadn't planned on doing a printed version, but people asked. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead and do a printed version. So that link is there, guys. It's $2.99 on Amazon right now. It's going to go up. It's going to release on October 5th. So if you order now, it'll get released to you on October 5th. And there's a printed version that's coming as well. Vanessa said, great job, sis. Thank you, Vanessa. I've had a 0 interest for a year, and both cards will be paid off next month before the interest is. Yes, I was given a sign-up bonus and get rewards using it right. Yes, that is so awesome. That is so awesome. Let me see. Oh, Tracy said, I already have my copy. You need this information in your library. Thank you, sis. Tracy was one of the first people that bought it. Thank you. Trinisa said, if you're paying the full balance, pay by the closing date. Yeah, you want to pay by the closing date. So your closing date and your statement date. So I believe your closing date is the same day as your statement date. Whatever your statement date is, that's the date that your credit, that's the date that they report. So as long as it's had time to report, you can pay after that date. So you want your utilization below 30% by that date, and then you want to pay and wait and at least until that date to pay it off. So have it below 30%, let it report, right? And then pay it off. I hope that made sense for you, Trinisa. Let me know if that did. I'll make sure before I end this. But I appreciate you guys for being on. Let me just see if I had any announcements. I made some notes. Oh, I just want to show you guys my shirt here too. So you guys know I do shirts. So it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month starting today. So this is one of the shirts on my website. It's Virtuous I can't even talk. For breast cancer awareness, this is one of the shirts I've added to my website. So I'll leave that link as well. Okay, and then next week we're going to have France Neptune coming on. So she is the author of Girl Be You. She is going to be on here teaching us how to be authentically you. Okay, it's called Girl Be You. This is a book on Amazon. So she's going to be with us next week. Okay, so she said it was clear. Also heard to pay twice a month if you can. True or false? So yeah, so Trinisa, sometimes I pay twice a month, but it won't it won't report. It will only report that once. So paying twice a month will help you pay your balance down quicker, but it doesn't really do anything for your credit. Somebody else told me that they were told that too. So it helps to pay it down because you're paying it down quicker, but it does nothing for your credit score. Because let's say your credit reports, your credit card company reports on the 27th, right? And you pay it down twice on the 2nd and then again on the 20th. All it's going to show is that you pay, let's say you paid $30 on the 2nd, and then on the 20th you paid another $30. On the 27th, it's just going to show that you paid $60. So it's not going to show, that you paid twice. It's just going to show the amount. So I hope that helped. But yeah, paying it twice, it helps with you getting it down quicker, but nothing for your credit score. Demetria said time to pull out my sweatshirt. I'm gonna show that next week, Demetria. Thank you. I'm gonna show that next week. Yeah, it helps. Yep, it helps pay it down, Shug. Does it help the interest rate? It helps the interest rate. The quicker, yes. So the quicker you pay it. So interest, that's a good question, Demetria. Interest goes up every day. So interest is always rising. So as soon as you get your credit report, you get your credit statement and it's reported, you can pay it off right away. So you don't have to wait until the due date. The quicker you can pay it, the less interest that you'll pay. So yes, that's a good question. Shantae said it went up. It will only help if you have a high utilization and your right decrease. Oh, you must be typing fast, Shantae. But yeah, it helps if you have a high utilization and it helps decrease the balance. Yes. So it does help if you have a high utilization. And again, as long as, they'll see you paying it, it just, the two just won't make a difference. You paying twice won't make a difference to them. It just helps you out with getting your balance down. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to get ready to let you guys go. So I don't want to take it for granted that everybody watching is saved and has a relationship with Jesus Christ. So I know there's a few people watching that I don't know. And so if you happen to be watching and you do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ and you don't know if you are saved or not, my mission is to inspire women to think like virtuous women. And the very first and most important quality of the virtuous woman was that she feared the Lord. She had a relationship with the Lord. So I just want to take a moment to see if there's anybody here that is not saved. And if you don't want to type it here, you could just inbox me later on my page. So I just don't want to take it for granted that everybody is saved. And that is the goal here, is to get you saved, and then everything else that comes after that. So I just want to take a moment just to make sure. I'll just see if anybody says anything, and if not, we're going to get ready to end it. And France, we will see you next week. We will see you next week. Let me put this up here. Okay, yeah, we will see you next week, France. So that's France Neptune. She's an author, and she's the founder of Edify Your Sister. So she's going to be here next week. Thank you guys so much. I'm just going to pray out real quick, Lord. I just thank you for this moment tonight, God. I thank you for helping me to be faithful, God, and be obedient to what you have called me to do, God. I hope and pray that somebody got something out of tonight, Lord. And I just ask and pray, Lord, that you continue to use me for your glory, Lord. And if there is anybody here watching tonight, God, that is not saved, I pray that you tug on their heart right now, God, and let them, Lord, just be bold and courageous to speak up or to come to you in their own privacy, God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. And the ebook link is in my in the comments, guys. Love y'all.